Hello everyone, Alistair Gold here. That was better, wasn't it? Wow, that's the difference football can make. I'm pretty sure that everyone this morning heading into work or whatever you were doing, you still had a little bit of a buzz going from yesterday's game. That second half performance, a lot of the kind of aspects of the entire display, but mainly the second half performance, the result. Going to one of the most difficult stadiums that the Premier League's had this season. Villa had won 17 in a row there only until a few weeks back. Spurs went there knowing they had to get the job done. They did it and then some. Honestly, it's a terrific one. It gives us loads to talk about today. Yeah, Spurs were so brave. That was the thing that I think I enjoyed the most about it. Some of the bits that terrified me the most about Spurs, I enjoyed as well. Because I think that's why Postecoglou was so happy after the game. Because they did everything he asked of them. He made a kind of... He always will back his team 100% if they're doing what he wants of them. And they did. They were playing it out from the back. And I still see people saying, why are they playing out from the back? Why are they playing it side to side out the back? Because that's the Postecoglou way. If you haven't got this by this point in the season, what's he been there? 7 months, 8 months or so now. I'm afraid I don't think you're ever going to fully understand the Postecoglou way. They are going to play out from the back. They are going to give us heart, palpitations. We are going to be like, there, when they do those kind of passes that just sometimes sneak past the toe or sometimes don't of the attacker. Certainly as Basuma and Romero did a couple that did go to Villa. But ultimately there's a logic behind it, as terrifying and as I say, brave as it is to get the opposition out of position. So even when they're flicking it back and forth between Romero and Van der Ven, and you're thinking, why are you playing it side to side? It is to shift the midfield and strikers across to see whether suddenly a little bit of space can open up. And you'll see yesterday was a really clear kind of way for me of seeing the system work in exactly how it's meant to work. There were a few times when Van der Ven would shift it to Romero. Romero would have the ball at his feet, and suddenly he would spot that one of the Villa strikers had slightly come out of position, and he would play it like a rocket pace through the middle. Either it could be to Basuma, or it could be to Sarr, or he would suddenly play it out to Porro, because they sensed, a bit like a coiled snake, they just sensed that there was this opportunity to strike, and they would. First half, final ball let them down a lot. There was a lot of really good build-up play. Like I say, playing it out from the back, getting around the Villa press, playing it down the flanks really well, and then they would play a really poor final ball. It would get cut out by the foot of a Villa defender, or there were times when one of the wingers, mainly Kulusevski in the first half, would try to beat his man, fail and lose the ball. But a lot of the other stuff Spurs did they did really well. The pressing was wonderful. My views on this. The best version of Tottenham Hotspur is an aggressive, snarling, pressing version of Tottenham Hotspur. I will say it until I will have that on my gravestone. It'll look a bit weird on a gravestone, but that is exactly what I would have on it. No, I wouldn't. That's rubbish. But it is something that I will continue to say probably until I'm underneath that gravestone, because it is the best Spurs. The opposition don't know what to do about that version of Tottenham Hotspur. You looked at Villa yesterday, and from the first minute, Spurs were led by, whether it was Sonny, Brennan Johnson, Sarr sometimes from the midfield, pressing high, pacey, running at them, not letting Villa have a chance to settle on the ball. Brennan Johnson especially was excellent. Actually, to be fair, all of them were. Sonny was just a constant running machine. But Brennan Johnson, you could just see, he wanted to make it very clear, I am not just a super sub. I am going to make my impact from the start of this game. And I thought, probably first half, he was Spurs' best attacker. He was just constantly running at them. He has got the confidence from that two assist little cameo last weekend. And everything he touched worked. He had little spins and twirls with the ball, skillful moments, dribbles past players. Control was lovely. And you just know when a player is confident, they can stride past an opposition player as if they're not there. They've got all the time in the world. when they're caught up in their own thoughts and they've lost confidence, you can see they take that extra touch, they're hesitant and they lose the ball when the opposition senses that. Johnson was the complete opposite. He was so good yesterday. I thought that was up there with one of his best performances actually yesterday. He was excellent. Like I say, Sonny, I know Sonny doesn't have to prove anything to anyone, but with that finish, he's now got 14th Premier League goal of the season, that was. That is... How many has he got now? 22 goal involvements in 24 Premier League games. 159 goals for Spurs now, which takes them up to joint 5th in the club's all-time goal scorer ranking, is joint with Cliff Jones. I think that's very fitting that two wingers mainly can have so many goals for the club. The Welsh wing wizard himself and Sonny, it's brilliant. Someone I saw suggesting, I don't know where it was suggesting, or it was a foreign tweet, but I saw the translation. And they used the word Mount Rushmore in it, and I thought that was lovely. And it just kind of made me think, can you imagine down the Tottenham High Road having like all these giant Mount Rushmore-sized heads of Spurs goal scorers that have scored loads in the past? That would be brilliant. I don't think the local residents would like it, but it would look superb. Just some little kind of mountain somewhere. Not really sure you could get that in the middle of North London, but... yeah, it just kind of made me chuckle thinking about it. So, yeah, so that was Sonny. Timo Werner, of course. Timo Werner has now got... what has he got? He's got 4 goal involvements in his first 7 matches back in the Premier League. It's not bad for a flop. If that's a flop, I think we should all be flopping. Because, yeah, I mean... Every passing game, I do feel like he's making that 15 million or so fee to make his move permanent look all the more of a no-brainer, honestly. Just to bring him in, get him through the door permanently. If he doesn't work out for him, I think you make a profit on him. But I do think he'll actually become a really important member of this squad. Like I say, with confidence, you saw the player yesterday, I think, that you saw at Leipzig. You saw the player that as soon as the ball came into his path knew exactly what to do with it and arrowed it right inside the right-hand post. It makes such confidence. It's such a silly, obvious thing. But yeah. So all the attackers doing really well. And Kulusevski, his kind of important thing for me is that he just needs to build on his unpredictability. Again, only 23 years old. We talk about Johnson being 22 and being young, and Decky is only 23. He needs to kind of utilise his right foot more. At times, he either won't look to use it or he'll put in a ball that isn't as good as we know he can put in with his left. And for him, that's going to be something that he has to work on. And he is a hard trainer. He's a listener. I think that's quite a key thing as well. I don't think it's any coincidence that Kulusevski sometimes can have a bit of an iffy first half and then comes out in the second half absolutely flying. And I think it's because he takes on board everything that Postecoglou or the coaching staff are saying to him. And he comes out a better player in the second half. And I guess it's all elements of that as well, and taking on more and more on the training ground as well. But it's just, I guess, the idea of about having this competition now. You've got Werner coming on and scoring goals. You've got Johnson coming in and scoring goals or producing assists. You've got Kulusevski involved in 3 of the 4 goals. You've got Sonny, who's just a machine. You've got Maddison contributing. Even Lo Celso didn't even get on yesterday, and he's got goals and assists as well. You've got Richarlison still to come back in. You've got Manor Solomon still to come back in. And I have no doubt in the summer that Postecoglou will want further attacking recruits. Haven't even mentioned Brian Hill, who can't even get on the bench right now. Skippy couldn't even get on the bench yesterday. Young Dane Scarlett, who knows what the future holds for him as well. So many others that have come in. Lucas Bergvall as an attacking midfielder is in there as well. Alfie Devine potentially. Jamie Donnelly, But even just what you've got right now with the competition is superb, and they're all contributing.